Welcome to Weather and Climate Chat with myself, Monsoon Mike, and Dr. Davis. Dr. Davis, welcome to the program today.
Good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back because it's been a couple weeks since we've seen you. So you've been really busy the past few weeks.
Yeah, we had the Middle States Geography Conference just last weekend. Went really well. We had a lot of good talks, and I was very pleased with how my students performed, and one of my students is here today joining us.
Yes, so introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Sierra Taylor, and I am one of Dr. Davis's research students and also in his weather analysis class.
Yes, we hear your forecasts on KUR
Yes.
when you do them. What's your day again?
Friday, today.
Friday. Okay, so you're going to do it today, or did you already do it?
I'm going to do it today.
I didn't look in the folder yet. Okay, very good. Well, we'll look forward to your forecast, and we'll get to that in 1 second. And we're going to talk about some special research that you're doing later in the podcast.
Yes.
We're really looking forward to that. Okay. Well, Dr. Davis, it's been a couple weeks since you've been here, so let's recap October a little bit. And you know me, I am generally a complainer when it comes to anything too warm for fall, as you probably know about me. But I'm actually not going to complain too much about this fall because after we got rid of that 93 degrees on what was that, October 2nd, I think it was.
Yeah, it was early October when we were in the 90s.
After that, it's been generally fairly where we should be. Maybe a little bit above it sometimes, maybe a little bit below other times, but generally a fairly nice, seasonable October, which I've been pleased about.
Yeah, we've been pretty much on target for our October temperatures, other than the really warm start that we had at the start of the month. Mm-hmm. But can't really complain about how the month really turned out.
No. Foliage is pretty nice. We're pretty much at peak right now and actually starting to lose some of our leaves, so won't be long till that's gone. But it's been a fairly nice October.
And just looking at the Climate Prediction Center, they have us a little bit warmer for November.
Yeah, I saw that. After we get through our little cold shot at the end of next week, it might warm up a little bit again, but we'll get to that in a second. So it's been a fairly seasonable October. We've had a little more in the way of rain after a very dry September, which is good, because prior to a couple of those storms that we had, the Schuylkill River, which is right down the road from my house, was quite low. So it's good to replenish those water tables a little bit. It was weird because the early part of this year was constant rain, and then we got into several months of pretty dry.
Yeah, I think you and I were remarking over the summer that if we didn't get any rain, we'd still be on target for our normal October. I think we heard that from WFMZ meteorologist. And it's been pretty dry since then, but we're still several inches above normal for where we should be. Okay. So we're still above average for precipitation-wise, but this fall's really been dry compared to the spring when it was super wet.
Right. So now this is a very big weekend here at Kutztown University because this is homecoming weekend, so happy homecoming to both of you. One concern we've had, I've been here at KU as an employee for 15 years, and I've seen every kind of homecoming weather from 48 degrees and rain and people, trying to, huddle around the fire to, 85 degrees and summer like sunshine. This particular homecoming looks fairly not too extreme either way. Looks like about average temperatures and a little on the cloudy side, but no rain until later in the evening. So most of the homecoming activities should get through most of the day, you would say.
Yeah, you and I were looking at the GFS and the NAM model, and they were showing the rain moving in probably about late afternoon, early evening, I think like 5 o'clock or so, that time period. And then clearing out by 8, 9 o'clock, and then we get the rain coming back early Sunday morning. So it doesn't really look that bad.
Yeah, and Sunday morning could be a rainy day. I think the National Weather Service has us for about a half an inch to upwards of an inch, so a healthy dose of rain. And some of that rain that we're going to get on Sunday is associated with what is Tropical Depression 17 over the Gulf of Mexico right now.
Yes, and it could become Olga. That'll be the name of the storm if it moves into Louisiana. But it's running out of time really to get its act together, so we'll see if it actually gets named or not.
Right.
But it does have a copious amount of moisture with it, and we're going to be looking at some heavier rains down toward the Gulf Coast and maintaining most of that moisture as it moves further northward toward us.
Okay. So then Sunday morning looks pretty rainy. It looks like we clear out Sunday afternoon. Then we're into a fairly benign weather pattern Monday, Tuesday, even a lot of Wednesday, before perhaps a bit of a pattern change coming up at the end of this coming week. During those quiet days early next week, temperatures a little bit above normal. I see some low 70s possible in Philly, upper 60s in our area, which is, about 5 degrees above where we should be this time of year?
Yeah, about 5-10 degrees.
5-10 degrees above normal. But then we have a cold front that's coming through right around Halloween. So it's going to be a close call for those trick-or-treaters. If your town does trick-or-treating on Halloween proper, there could be some showers. Models have been waffling a little bit with what happens with that. If the GFS is correct, Halloween evening probably would be okay, but it's going to be a close call. So check back on Monsoon Mike's page. And are you still posting on your page?
Very infrequently.
Got to get you back.
Yeah,
I got
to get back in the game.
Yeah, well, keep us posted there. And then all of the models have been heralding a bit of a chilly spell coming in for about next weekend.
Yes, it looks like temperatures will be dropping as we get a high pressure moving out of Canada. Mm-hmm. And it looks like we only get into the low 40s, maybe mid 40s.
Yeah. If this
next weekend.
Yeah, if this is correct for next Saturday, might be most of the day might be in the 40s. Might hit 51 or so, but generally could have some chilly nights, and we could even be encroaching on some upper 20s for lows next weekend.
But then again, that is the beginning of November. That's
kind of average. So yeah, it's not that unusual. And then if you're going way out, potentially a little warmer again. I think you just looked at the Climate Prediction Center for the month of November, and generally it looks like it could be on above average side. But definitely for the next 8 to 14 days, that we're in the blue there. So
yeah, I see
cooler
central U.S. being pretty cold next.
That's something you don't see too often, especially with how I'm always complaining about the heat, and I'm used to always seeing all red here. To see some dark blues over Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas, that's a little. I'm encouraged by that, but I know our guest today isn't, because she's not a fan of chilly weather. But
Share, anything you want to add about the weather?
Yeah, 75 and up is comfortable.
75 and up, and I was joking. 55 and down is good for me. So, but I'm sure you'll see more. Do you remember a couple Christmases ago when we had 72 degrees on Christmas Eve?
Yes,
do you remember that?
I do.
Remember.
Yeah.
You're probably loving that. You're probably
best time of my life.
Yeah. I heard people were barbecuing on Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
in their shorts.
Yep, that was pretty crazy. All right, so that's what we're looking like over the coming week or so. So now let's get into our topic of the day, and the topic of the day is all about you, Sierra, and some of the research you're doing. Tell us about it.
Yes, so I did my research on nocturnal tornado vulnerability in Tennessee counties, and I looked at population, frequency, and number of mobile home parks in those counties. I suggested to look at counties due to the research that I looked at beforehand, before expanding into my topic. I saw that there was a lot of death, fatalities, and a lot of general sense of where these nocturnal tornadoes were occurring in certain states, but I wanted to dive deeper into that county level to see, okay, what counties are at risk for these for these storms. So looking at population, frequency, and mobile home parks allowed me to do that.
That's very interesting. Now I'm thinking there could even be like a demographic thing here, like maybe lower income people who live in mobile home park, maybe more vulnerable to.
Yes, more vulnerable to those tornadoes.
Right.
That's also what I would like to dive in deeper with this research. I'm not going to stop here, obviously.
Please, yeah.
Just a base foundation, but looking at those income, looking at age, looking at different styles of the culture down there. Right. And we can see at what counties are at the most risk for these tornadoes. Also, what I found through this research was looking at mostly in the western and central parts of the states of those counties were more at risk, and saw the greater number of nocturnal tornadoes throughout a 30-year period.
Yeah. I always send good vibes and say special prayers every time I hear those, because every time you see those tornado warnings come out, the first line that the National Weather Service puts in there is, if you're in a mobile home, but where do you go sometimes?
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the big things.
One of the things that I heard about with mobile home parks is that they were going to be trying to establish some type of underground tornado shelter for the community. Idea. But the problem with that is, how do you get people to the shelter? Mm-hmm. And then how do you maintain it?
A lot of times it's a very quick turnaround time. You get a warning and you got like 5 minutes.
And who has keys and so forth. Some people may not have accessibility to said shelter,
right,
even though they're essentially paying for it. So there's some social and economic burdens that may be in the way of that.
Right.
Also, one of those factors too down there is people in those mobile home parks. What is the technology like? What is, not many people may not have access to social media, which we get our information from today. So it's just very interesting to see how that would play out, looking more into this research.
Have you seen numbers of deaths on nocturnal tornadoes in that area go up, down, stay about the same over the past number of years?
I've seen them go up.
Really?
Throughout the past 30 years, actually, because
that's not good. It should be going the other way.
Because if you think about it, in a 30-year period, 1980, we have different. Our technology is different.
Right.
So moving forward, we're going to get more accurate readings, moving towards the 2010s to 2015 area.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Right. Well, that's a good point too. Yeah.
And what are some of the dangers posed by these nocturnal tornadoes?
Well, the nocturnal tornadoes are 2 times more as deadly to kill at night than they are during the day, because of no one is aware. People are sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark outside.
Yeah, it's dark outside, and it's harder to spot for people to spot and mark those tornadoes a touchdown. So it's very scary for those people down, especially in that southern region, that Tornado Valley we like to call.
And Tennessee evidently gets a lot of them, these nocturnal tornadoes?
Yes, Tennessee is one of, believe it's the 3rd highest for nocturnal tornadoes.
Wow.
I want to say Florida or Illinois is like 1 or 2, but Tennessee is up there. That's why I really wanted to focus on Tennessee, because of the geographic location of the state.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Have you talked to, I'm sure you've done research on whatever National Weather Service office covers that area. Have you talked to anybody down there about this? Or
actually, I ran into someone at AAG, a conference in D.C. this past April, and she was actually from Tennessee.
Okay.
So she ran into me, and she said, yes, this is a problem that we're having, and it's good that someone is actually looking into this, because there is a lack of knowledge on the topic. So I'm just hoping to expand this research and see where I can go with it.
And Sierra will also be presenting at the upcoming AAG conference, our big geography professional conference in Denver, Colorado, in April.
Yes, I look forward to that.
All right. So, that's fascinating stuff. So, is there? Are you planning on making this research public once you're finished? I don't know. Put it out there, social media, or whatever, because I'd love to read it.
Yeah. Haven't really thought into detail about that.
Yeah.
Due to the workload.
Well, you're just doing the work right now. Yeah.
Just doing the work, but definitely that's something I can look into and expand with that.
Yeah, you should definitely put together that manuscript for potential publication.
Yes.
And we would help promote that here at KUR, so please keep us in mind for that.
Absolutely.
Any final thoughts? Did you want to just throw out there about Dr. Davis's class this year? How you're, any others?
Weather analysis, I think I enjoy a lot more, because we're going into detail with how things work and why they work the way they do.
Right.
Versus meteorology, where you kind of got a baseline foundation. So I'm really excited for this class this semester and this fall.
Good.
And Sierra is also leading this week in the forecast contest.
Nice.
We're in Hartford, Connecticut.
Hartford this week? Okay.
And I was in it until today, when the low didn't get as low as I thought it was.
Yeah, 42.
Does cloud sneak in or something to limit radiational cooling or something?
I think the clouds pretty much.
Yeah. Clouds can really messed up my forecast. Overnight low forecast. Yeah, I've noticed that they can mean a lot. It could be like 10 degrees different if you get some clouds. So, all right. So, thank you so much for being here, Sierra. It's been a pleasure to have you as our guest.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, maybe we'll have you back again. I think the plan is, you want to get everybody here at least once, and then maybe. If we have some leftover spots as well, but you're going to be doing weather throughout. You do weather on KUR, so we'll hear your voice throughout the rest of the year. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sierra and Dr. Davis, and we will record again, hopefully next week.
Next week.
Okay. See you then.